Okay, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you can all hear me. And on behalf of Asclepion Laser Technologies, I would like to thank you for joining us for this webinar on the MeDioStar high-speed hair removal laser. Dr. Jason Emer will be doing a talk on how to turn a profit in a highly competitive market sector. I'm Edward Dobson. I'm one of the international training managers for Asclepion, and I will be your moderator for today's webinar. Let me just change the screen. Okay, so the session format will be as follows. At any time during Dr. Emer's presentation, you can submit a question either for the doctor to answer or for us from Asclepion, and depending on the time and the number of questions that we receive, hopefully at the end of the webinar we will have some time for a question and answer session. If we don't get around to answering your question, please take a note of the email that you can see there at the bottom of the page, which is marketing@asclepion.com. And you can send us an email and we will respond in writing to your questions. So, a little bit about our guest speaker today, which is Dr. Jason Emer. He's an award-winning board-certified dermatologist. He's known around the world for pioneering some of the most advanced treatment modalities in his field, including the high-def lipo, high-definition liposuction, facial sculpting, and his signature without a trace lift. He's celebrated worldwide for his bold techniques and innovative approach, and is a leading-edge position behind Hollywood's most defined bodies and infallible faces. He's equal parts a scientist and an artist, that's for sure. His skills and precision in facial aesthetics and body contouring have definitely got him a very, very loyal clientele who fly in from around the world, and he's got an amazing global reputation. So, I've got to say as well, Dr. Emer has got a fabulous clinic on Sunset Boulevard in Beverly Hills, West Hollywood, and every time I go, it's always a pleasure to catch a slight glimpse of perhaps an A-list celebrity in the waiting room, for example. Now, over the years, Dr. Emer has bought a number of lasers from Asclepion. Obviously, he's got the MeDioStar, but within his clinic, he also has our MCL31 erbium YAG laser, which he uses for lines, wrinkles, and stretch marks. He has our QuadraStar Pro Yellow 577 nanometer vascular laser, and also our Tattoo Star Combo combination Ruby YAG Q-switch laser. So he's not unknown to Asclepion, and nor are products unknown to him. He's got a lot of track record using a lot of our lasers and knows our company quite well. So I shall now pass you over to Dr. Emer for his presentation. And like I say, if you've got any questions throughout the presentation, please just fire them in, and we will hopefully get around to answering them during the question and answer session. Right, Dr. Emer, it's now over to you. Good morning to you, and thank you for joining us. Hope you've enjoyed your breakfast. You
just got to eat, thank God. No, it was great to see you guys. You know, I love doing these webinars. I'm very thankful to Asclepion because years ago when I was just starting out in practice in Beverly Hills and I didn't have my celebrity clients, I was looking for great technologies to use because I wanted to be one of those, you know, greatest laser doctors in the world, and my goal was to offer the best combination treatments. And I went to Asclepion and I said, I'm a young doctor, you need to get all your devices in my office because I'm gonna be, you know, big on social media. At the time, we just started doing a lot of advertising and marketing on Instagram and on YouTube. And I really wanted the best technology. I had come from 2 different laser fellowships working with people who exposed me to many different types of lasers. And at the time, you know, the US wasn't as popular to have the devices, but I knew the technologies were the best. I mean, I'll tell you, I instantly became in love with that MC31. It's unbelievable. It's like a go-to device in my practice in terms of what you can do with resurfacing. But I had done a significant amount of laser hair removal clinical research when I was a fellow, using pretty much every device, all the way from initially IPL and diode lasers, Alex lasers, YAG lasers. I mean, I was my initial usage of the device, and then we did it on our patients for studies. Can't tell you the number of times I burned myself or caused hyperpigmentation because of poor cooling or bad contact. The treatments would take, I mean, I was a hairy beast, and I would have to do my entire chest and stomach and back, and that could take hours to do. And then when I got the MeDioStar and the XL handpiece, and we could do a back in about 3 or 4 minutes, I mean, it was unbelievable. So, and then also from the course of doing all these trials, in my experience, the majority of improvement came from me doing a diode technology. Obviously, I love simultaneous wavelength, like adding in the 940 for deeper penetration or focusing on vascular. But the diode technology is really characteristic, in my opinion, on some of the most long-term beneficial results, plus being very versatile and using on almost every skin type. So I had, you know, the MeDioStar Next about 2016, and that was a huge gap. That was a huge advancement. And I'll show you guys, you know, these videos that Asclepion produced, I think were really good. I mean, look, you can do an entire area, and I'm going to show you this in a very short time period. I mean, here's the XL, extremely large, you know, nice cooling tip, touchscreen, which we didn't have before, and the ability to go into a smooth pulse mode, which here, I mean, you're basically doing really quick, fast bursts of pulses, low energy, high frequency, able to do multiple passes so that you can, you know, stimulate heat at the deep end of the hair follicle without burning the surface of the skin. And it was just amazing. I mean, look, in just a couple minutes, you could do a full back. And I'll show you an example of that here. And let me tell you, you know, when I look back at these videos, I can't believe how, I hate to say the word crappy they are, comparatively as they are now. We've advanced so much in what my marketing company has done. Just so you guys know, I have a marketing company that was originally designed to do videos and social stimulation for doctors. Now we actually do big brands like YouTube and Hulu and others. But any of those doctors interested in, you know, helping to boost your practice, because a big component is not only having a great doctor and an amazing technology, it's being able to get the word out. Nowadays, people don't care about you being in a white coat or up on a podium. They want to see reality. They want to see the patients getting treatments done. That video right there had hundreds of thousands of views when it first posted, probably because it's got a young guy basically half naked. But other doctors that saw it couldn't believe the size of this handpiece, almost the applicator tip being almost 10 centimeters squared, being able to treat an entire area. I mean, that whole upper body takes about 5 to 10 minutes. Don't look at my bad technique there, because it should have wrapped the handpiece and everything, which we do now. But sometimes we just kind of get a little quick. So in 1999, you have the first, the next coming out, 810 wavelength, many years of experience. And the new, and the thing is, again, high power, high speed. The newer device is going to be even more high power, even better speed, better contact cooling, better trolley, better digital display, and the ability to have simultaneous wavelength functioning. And then I'm also to talk to you guys about the other hand pieces. Wireless foot switch is amazing, and ergonomic hand pieces is amazing. So of all the devices that are out there, you know, the other thing I was going to say is, to me, having the versatility. So here you have your Alex handpiece, which I think is unbelievable wavelength to use, especially when you know how to do it. You could do, you know, stacked pulses, or you could do, if we zoom forward, you could see again in that smooth pulse mode, going very quickly, being able to do linear passes or circular passes relatively quickly. I mean, I did, I think 3 treatments in my underarms, or 4, and almost all the hair is gone in that area. I love it. It was probably one of the best things I did for that. So you guys know, you know, the science of hair removal, obviously, as the skin type increases. And I do have experience actually using diode on type 6, although I would say be very careful. I have an article I published in, I can't remember what journal it was, in about 2015 or 16, on doing types 5 and 6 diode laser of the face. I had a lot of football players that come to me with pseudofolliculitis barbae, a lot of acne on the face, which I'll show you some pictures. I think I have some pictures of that, where we literally would just remove the hairs of those areas. And at that time, obviously couldn't use IPL, and there really wasn't a great Alex laser to use at the time anyways. So we would typically go towards doing diode at low, very, very low fluences. And you know also that different parts of the body require different levels of experience, as well as how high you go in frequency. So that's what's great about the predetermined settings on these devices, because not only now can you set a location and a skin type, but you can also set how coarse the hair is, how much the density is, so that it can change the fluences and the hertz. And again, on average, you know, when someone's a darker skin type, you're not changing the energy too much each time, but when they're a lighter skin type, you go a little bit more. So to get, what I wanted to show you here is the traditional diode, but I want you to see, you know, on areas like the leg, for example, in smooth pulse mode, you can go really fast. I mean, take a look at how easy it is. This is probably my favorite handpiece of all. I mean, I against probably all the training that the company does, I've probably done so many passes of this in altered settings in so many ways as we go, because the hair responds very quickly, and then you get an improvement, and you need to keep increasing as you go to keep getting even better improvement. The other is the circular motion technique, which is probably one of my favorite, especially in rounded areas like the calves, the sides, the ankle. It just gives such a really good improvement. And look how quickly you could do, and very cleanly you could do these areas. Sorry, hold on one second. One of my favorite videos that's out there, I don't know if you guys have ever seen it, is when there was a comparison between the Asclepion device and the Gentolays. Now, when I was in my fellowships, we used a lot of Gentolays. It reminds me of like a drummer, you know, hitting the drum, because every time there's a poof because of the cryo. And, you know, it has a larger handpiece, and at the time it was great. But if we take a look at the comparison, you know, good device, you know, good technology, but in smooth pulse mode with our device, I mean, there is really no comparison. It's so much more advanced. It's like, you know, an iPhone 4 versus the new iPhone 10. You know, you can't really compare. In such a short time period, not only are you getting the coverage of the area, but the high frequency allows for I had to say, like a super amount of heating at the deeper levels of the hair follicle. It's not just a shock, it's like building up heat. So for example, when you run a marathon, you know, you could see marathon runners are very lean. They consistently running, they lose more weight. If you just shock the hair follicle, yeah, you might lose it, but has a potential to regrow back if you don't really kill the hair follicle. In this case, as we build the energy up with these multiple passes in the lower amount of fluences, but coverage passes being much higher, you actually get super passes with deep energy. And look, minutes it takes, and even that's a fast person to be able to do it, to be able to compare. So examples of pseudofolliculitis improvement in darker skin type, and you can see there's a discrete line as to where the improvement is. You could see the reduction there in the armpits, on legs, full face. I do, like I said, I have a lot of athletes. I have a lot of drag queens. We're in Hollywood. I have a lot of women that have PCOS, or they're just going through menopause. They have hair changes, my Asian clients. I love hair removal in the armpit. I think it's one of the best results that you can get with a diode laser. Same thing in women with hormonal issues. So example, if somebody's on hormones, you know, you may not be able to fully get rid of the follicles, but we can still improve it. Same thing on darker skin type. So, you know, the key is when you first start, I always tell people, don't just go straight towards the dynamic and, you know, these circular motions or linear motions, and, you know, take a little bit of doing just static point by point or glide in the first treatment or two. Make sure the patient's heals well. You know, sometimes with laser hair removal, unless you see a flash of darkening or extreme erythema, you don't know for sure, was there any problem that you caused. If you're in the treatment parameters, you should be fine. But if somebody's tan, or you know, certain medications, let's say. So in general, especially on the face, you go pretty easy. Larger body areas, even in the first treatment, if you're gonna go towards a dynamic, it might be better to do the linear method and test your first few passes with a point-by-point method, and give it a few minutes to take a look at the spots before continuing on that fluence. The last thing I wanted to, or another thing I wanted to talk about was the 940. You know, this to me is like one of the most advanced devices, because before I had experience in using this, and I've used a lot of lasers for vascular, you either didn't really get a result because, for example, a V-beam just doesn't go deep enough unless there's very superficial small capillaries. You're not going to get spider or reticular veins that well. And then, you know, then we get to the 577, which does do a lot better, and it's a really great device, but has the ability to burn somebody if you don't really know what you're doing. So that's a device you really need that level of expertise. But with this device, let me see if I can get it to play. Oh, hold on a sec. Let's try one more time. So I want to get to play because I want you guys to see the cool thing about this. Oh, I don't know why it's pausing. Is you have cooling right here and you have application right here. So you can cool and heat, and then cool and then heat. You see cool, heat, and you can literally target without even touching, because the energy goes all the way down and is extremely, its chromophore is extremely attractive because of the hemoglobin attraction to the 940. So you can see this is great for areas like the ankles, you know, when you know what you're doing, and smaller, large areas. I'll show you. Here's an example. I don't know if it's playing the sound, but I don't hear it. But either way, I'm talking about how, you know, we use usually a little roller or just cool and then do it and do a bunch in a row. But you can see the flash and immediately the blanching of the vessel. This is so specific. Yeah, it takes a little bit more time, but you know, in terms of a KTP or a YAG, I mean, the ability to burn the skin is much less with this cooling and heating alternative method. What's great is you can literally see the flash. Now I use a polarized headlight, and obviously this is like a kid in a candy store. These are the fun ones to do, in my opinion. And you'll see this initially under a polarized headlight, where the vessel is here, and then right afterwards it's blanched. And then you can get results like this, you know, a little bit of pigmentation, no big deal. We could treat that with other lasers or with lightening creams. But, you know, you can get really significant outcomes in terms of even in areas like ankle, which is really challenging. Can always combine it if you really wanted with a sclerotherapy, do it 1 session or 2 to the center, and then use the laser as the outer portions, these larger ones easily treatable. A lot of times in these larger branching ones, we'll do sclerotherapy deeper here through here, and then we'll do laser on the outskirts. So the future now for hair removal is the monolith device and hand pieces. Obviously, it's like the Ferrari, you guys. I mean, they've upgraded the look, the design, even the social media and animation. I'm impressed because this is the stuff my company produces, and I'm impressed at how good it's looking. I know that what's great, again, like I told you guys, is this combination of all the wavelengths. Energy has been almost doubled. Pulse durations at up to 400 milliseconds, allowing us to treat darker skin types. And then again, all these different hand pieces in various sizes. The cool thing about this, easily transportable. I have a office which I think it would be great one time to do, maybe once a year or twice a year, do a like a Asclepion users meeting in America. We could do it at my office. I have a huge office, 8,000 square feet, and down a huge hallway of 9 rooms. Originally I had wanted, like, you know, 1 laser to be specific to a room. The problem is we're doing so many treatments all the time. I need this thing to be able to be moved. The other thing is having dual hand pieces is unbelievable. A lot of flexibility and reduction in time. You know, and there's storage spaces and stuff like that for people that have smaller clinics. We keep all them, you know, in 1 or 2 main rooms, but we can move this easily. And they're going to now have a great cooling here and much more upgradable because the technology is so much more advanced. Large buttons for those that can't see as well. That's always me in the office because I have goggles, like 15 goggles hanging from my neck at all times. And it's just bright, pretty. Patients want to see that. They don't want to go into a rundown clinic. They want to see they see this, they think advanced. And it is. Look at the interface, right? You go from an area of selection and skin type, and that's typically where you would stop. But now, as we've advanced with years of using a device, when you have a device technology of almost 20 years, actually over 20 years, you can now start to really hone in on the energy settings. And it does make a difference what density somebody has and what thickness they have related to not only the fluence, but also the pulse width. And so what's great is it's just lighter. The tubing that holds the hand pieces longer and easier to move around. The other thing is the technology of Asclepion compared to most companies is this line right here. Homogeneous laser spot, and I'll show you guys a picture of that. And again, it's sapphire crystal cooling, which is very safe and reliable. And now the different handpiece designs being much more ergonomic and just looking good. I mean, look at the difference. Look at how the handpiece is and how it holds. Much easier to fix and clean and take care of. So again, having these different devices, having the ability of going from a 1 centimeter all the way up to a 10 centimeter spot size. Although you'll laugh, my staff, I literally use a 10 centimeter on almost everything. I'm a little crazy. On face, I probably wouldn't do that, but pretty much almost everywhere. High amounts of energy, the ability to go to 400 milliseconds, dual wavelengths. And again, I showed you why the 940 wavelength is so good. Wait, hold on 1 second. And yeah, and then again, adding that Alex device for that lighter skin types, or those where the diode has either failed or stopped responding. We can go change it a little bit. I mean, there's a lot of opportunities there in use of that. I like it a lot for the face and my light skin patients. The cooling of 360 degrees makes it very much almost painless. Typically, I don't like to use any numbing unless I'm in the genital area for patients if possible. And again, the majority of lasers having this areas of miss energy, whereas here it's all flat top and very homogeneous, so that it's reproducible and reliable when it comes to the delivery of the energy, and the risk of any burn is minimized. So we can treat all areas, we can treat all skin types. Everyone always asks me, can you do lasers when it's sunny? I'm sunny 24/7 here in LA. My patients wear large hats, they wear sunscreen. I give them Helio Care, which is a supplement internally to give them sun protection. And before they leave, typically we do a little red light therapy if they get a little swelling. But extremely low risk of complications, and then that's it. So that's my experience using, and you guys will see very soon a lot of new videos that'll be coming out. I would love for those, because there's a lot of people on this call, for those that are interested in seeing some of the techniques that I do, you know, let Edward know the questions you want or the videos you want to see. I will produce them. And then also maybe at one time, again, like I said, we do like a users meeting or something, even on Zoom, where we can broadcast live from my office to get people all over the world, showing them treatments. I think it would be phenomenal. So that's it. That's my experience with the Asclepion technology, specifically the MeDioStar.
Thank you very much, Dr. Emer. Do you have any words that you might like to share on how you market yourself and how you market your treatments? This is yes. Something that I've always been particularly impressed with when I've seen your internet presentations, you know, obviously Instagram,
well,
things like that.
I laugh because when I look at that first video I made, I mean, that was one of, I think that was back in 2015 or something. I can't remember when we first, maybe 16. You know, we've advanced so much in what we do. At the time, you know, there wasn't this flashy animation, there wasn't voiceover, there wasn't everyone demanding before and afters and seeing the patient's experience. Now it's like you have to do a full story every time to make people trust that what you're doing is real. What I always said, and I gladly would do, Edward, if you want to plan it, I gladly would do a social media lecture that has nothing to do with the devices, but just talks about how to market yourself, because that's one of the things I specialize in. The other is, again, I have a marketing company now called MD Agency that does this for doctors. And we actually, unbelievable. I have doctors in China, I have doctors all over the world, Australia, that send us content that we tell them, we teach them how to produce. And we edit it, we produce it, we put it on YouTube, we put it on their Instagram, we market them, we even make their websites and add the Instagram to it and follow their leads. And so I would say you're gonna need somebody like that. If you don't, in-house is really difficult because things are always changing unless you really know how to do it. I have 12 people in-house. So to produce what I produce, you'd have to spend $50,000 to $100,000 a month. Most doctors are not going to do that. So if you're not going to do that and you're fixed on what you're going to spend, you really need to produce reality type videos. You need to show the device. No one wants to see a doctor that's tight, that's in a white coat. They want to see you in there. They want to see you up front using the laser, why it works. Follow my Instagram, you guys. All of you guys should follow my Instagram and follow my Instagram lives. I do it a lot now for skincare especially. And I'm up close, I'm showing my face, I'm explaining the technologies. People then relate to you more. And the thing I always tell people the most is it's not about the devices per se, although Edward, I love your devices and it's gonna convince people to want them, especially other doctors, but also consumers, is you gotta have a unique niche. So when I moved to Beverly Hills, the reason you saw a super ripped white young guy was because I marketed myself as the dermatologist to men and the one that did a lot of lipo. And from that, in a 2-year time period, those men sent their friends and their sisters and their mothers. And now I have a mix. I mean, the youngest patient I have is 13 and the oldest I have is 109. And, wow. You know, and it's a variety. It's not everyone in entertainment. It's not everyone that needs, I have people from everywhere across the world that come to see me just because I do treat this person or I have somebody like that. You want to create videos where people relate. You want to create content that shares your niche and your expertise, a unique part of yourself. So to me, it was a young, athletic, fit guy that's smart and uses technologies. I don't have jewelry on. I don't wear a suit at work. I'm in scrubs. I'm in it. If I get gel on me, who cares? You know what I mean? I'm in there. I got my goggles on, and that's how I promoted myself. And people got, you know, really related to me fast. I mean, my Instagram, people respond as if they already know me before they meet me. And I would want to create that for you. And that's what you need to create. So when you have this amazing technology in your hands, you don't want to just, you know, sit there next to it and do a boring video with books in the background. You want to show it on a treatment. You want to get up close, you get personal, you know, and show people what they want to see. Women want to see it done in the vaginal area. Put it on YouTube, put it on Twitter. It's allowed as long as the person allows it. There's no reason why you can't. Don't be, you know, explain why, use your niche to explain why and get the people in, but really show them you know, the reality of the treatment and the reality of the person getting the treatment. And so if you guys do want to reach out to me, it's jasonemermd.com, but you can send an email to pj@jasonemermd.com. I do consulting and marketing. I would love to help, and I definitely would love to help, especially if you get this device, because I'm going to have a whole slew of videos and things that I want to launch with the device. And if other doctors have it, we can launch it together.
Yeah. How many videos would you say that you release across all the, you know, the equipment that you use on a weekly basis?
God. So I actually know that answer. So we have right now over 2,300 YouTube videos in 4 years. We do a live or two every single day. Right now during COVID, we're doing about 2 or 3 lives. Today I'm doing 3 lives. For example, one with a makeup company in New York, another with a dermatologist here, and another about skincare. So we're doing at least 2 to 3 live videos a day. That content also goes to Instagram and to YouTube and my website. So I have a whole team that distributes that and optimizes it. Now in the office, I have at least 3 to 5 patients a day that want me to videotape them, that wanted to put it on Snapchat, that want to, so we're creating somewhere between 5 and 10 videos every day. That's 300 videos a month on average that we have to optimize, and over 3,000 a year, and that doesn't include my surgery videos. So that is a lot of optimization and content. That's why I said it didn't matter if COVID was for 2 years, I have content for every single day. It's crazy, but obviously we don't want that, and not every doctor is going to have that either. That's why you have to make good quality videos when you have the ability to do it. When you have a patient that wants to share their story and talk about it afterwards and share their treatments, you want to optimize. Optimize on how you do that, and we can teach you. But that's what you need to do, and it can be done even with an iPhone. Although, I mean, I can show you. I have a whole studio set up in my office to be able to do live, or my apartment, my condo, to be able to do live videos here. I also have a full studio in my office, but you don't necessarily need it. You can do this stuff with iPhones and with selfie lights and things nowadays, and we could teach you how.
Excellent. Any other tips that you might want to put out there? Obviously, you know, the simple basic things that you use to kind of generate.
Yeah, here's what I'll tell you. Here's what I would say. I mean, I like to do a lot of, obviously, before and afters. I like to do a lot of doing, if you have a technology, at least twice a week, telling people you're going to do some sort of live discussion or some sort of live treatment. So at the beginning, when I first got this device, we used to do a lot of Instagram and YouTube lives, and we would post videos every week and tell people days before that we were doing it to get them to want to watch. Lots of before and after pictures, lots of patients where a day or two later, they talk about their treatment and how great it was. I like to show people right then. I mean, this device is basically painless. I mean, I'm a baby when it comes to hair removal, and this device is literally painless, especially in that smooth pulse mode. Because remember, in the smooth pulse mode, the energies are really low. So you're doing many passes and higher frequencies of a low pulse energy. So it really isn't that painful. I mean, sometimes you don't even feel it. So it you know, that you have to show that. If you can show that, people get super excited about it. I mean, obviously, you know, on your websites, and this is what we do for people, we create amazing landing pages that are trackable. Those landing pages have, you know, company information and videos that we would tell you to create that we would put on there, and pictures, and then you can advertise that online. You know, you could use that on YouTube. You can use it on Instagram. You can use it on Facebook marketing. You know, it also depends on, you know, your network and what you have. If you're starting out and you don't have lots of emails and you don't have a lot of clients, I wouldn't go necessarily towards doing newsletters and things. But if you do, those become very successful. My newsletter has like a 40% open rate because and just so you guys know, industry standard and open rates of newsletters are like 3 to 8%. They're very low. And ours is really high because we have animated videos, we have expert tips, we do, you know, we talk about skincare. And the other thing too with laser hair removal, I always promote skincare. And I have a company, emeragecosmetics.com, that does doctor dispensed products. And what we're trying to do right now, actually, I have about 40 doctors involved, where we're going to get every company that does doctor dispensed products on the site, and doctors that don't want to carry those in their practice will be able to make money off of sending their patients to the website. And what's going to be great is, like, say you have an esthetician and you want 4 lines or 5 lines of skincare, but you're not going to have every body product or whatever. We would have specific Asclepion, you know, like protocols for post laser hair removal on our site that your clients could go to and you could still make money for it. You would suggest anti-aging treatments for their arms, for their back, for their chest. Obviously, if they're doing their neck, you're talking about skincare. So, you know, and then also on those patients that do hair removal, specifically on the face, we typically do an oxygen facial a day or 2 later for them, really discounted. So it allows people to keep getting back into the office. It helps them, makes them think you're, you know, helping them heal. You know, the skincare brand that we're building right now is about 200 products. So when patients come in and they get laser hair removal, instead of me even asking that or telling them, this is the skincare you need to use on your arms now after the treatment, they go, what do I need to use? Because I know, you know, you're going to recommend. We're always recommending that. And those things are going to have people come back. They're going to ask for more things. They're going to ask to get a, you know, a different laser done, or do the skincare. And again, if you're a smaller provider and you're not able to have all of these products, I'm trying to create a company where a lot of people can be involved and be beneficial. So that's, again, something you could email us about as well. But those are the things you need to talk about with your clients. I mean, we do body facials and peels that go well with hair removal too. So again, that's something you can package in. You could give them some free treatments like red light. We do red light therapy for them immediately afterwards to decrease inflammation. They love it. They get relaxed. So there's a lot of ways, and you can show that on media, and then people get super excited to come to you.
Yeah, excellent. Thank you very much. I'm just looking through the list. We don't have too many questions, actually.
Wow.
Obviously, you're answering everything that people want to hear. Let me just check that I'm not missing any questions here. We just have a question about how many shots on the handpiece. The handpiece has got unlimited shots, which are warranted for the first year. We certainly have handpieces in our showroom, for example, in Vienna, which was returned from Russia, which has got over 35 million shots on it. So the diode technology is obviously very long-lasting, and it tends to be mechanical damage that people have dropped the handpiece or banged it into things that stop it working, rather than you know.
Yeah, I mean, really the only thing I think with the device is you know, the tubing itself is very protected, but you just have to make sure you don't really twist it or pull it in the back. So in general, everything else is fine. The handpieces themselves are really easy to take care of. If you do the saran wrap, and I don't know what we'll do with the new handpieces, but if you do the saran wrap technique, it covers pretty much everything. You just don't want to hit the sapphire tip, you know? Yeah. And the glass.
Yeah, I mean, you've had your machine since basically right at the start of 2000.
I think 5 years. 4 years. Yeah, over 4 years.
And obviously, just taking delivery of the brand new one, get to use it once. Lockdown.
Oh, you will see very soon. I already have literally a waiting list right now of 12 guys. They all want treatments, and they want treatments of areas that you guys don't normally see, which is what I'm gonna love to do, like the scrotal area, the butt, you know, neck. Like we're gonna show a lot of things that people don't normally see.
Yes. Well, I've got to be honest, when I came round to your clinic a few times, I've seen areas that I don't normally get to see. Yes.
I know. Well, I mean, look, around
Extremely
here, everyone wants to be a hairless cat, you know? So we got to do everywhere. We do ears, everything, anything somebody needs.
uh-huh. Question, have you ever used the 940 nanometer handpiece actually for ear hair? Because, you know, the tip is quite small, you can get inside the ear with it, and obviously 940 operates similar to 1064. So
Yeah, you can. I have actually, and I think it's really good. I mean, to be honest, the small hand pieces for that we have are still, I think, even the 3 centimeter. What is the small size? 3 centimeter? I don't even
yeah,
think that. I think that's actually fine. I've done it even on myself. I mean, yeah. Look, I mean, I just have a lot of experience. Even if a little bit of the tip isn't touching the skin, and don't quote me on. I don't go medical, you know, quoting me on this. I've never seen a burn. So the
yeah.
940 is really easy to do. The 1 centimeter, you can literally just cool heat, and you're fine. And it goes deep. So those hair follicles are typically stringy, not high density, and are pretty dark in color. So you should be fine.
Excellent. Okay. Let me just check. I'm going to put my reading glasses on here.
Now, just a tip for the hair, for the ear and the beard line, I typically add a cream called Vanica. And I don't know if it's available outside the United States, but it's a pigment or a thinning, it thins the density of the hair follicle, or sorry, the hair itself. And it's, for some reason, and we don't exactly know why, it makes the number of sessions go down for hair removal. So you could do once or twice a day. If you do it twice a day, Vanica, Vaniqa. I don't know outside the United States, ornithine cream. I just don't know outside the United States if they have generic versions or not. But it will get irritating if you do it twice a day. So I tell people to do it once a day while they're out of clinic, and then twice a day for a couple days before they come in. And then it seems to, in small areas like the armpits, the neck, back of the neck, the ears, speed up the process of hair removal.
Question here from a lady called Irene. Is it permanent? I have experienced that after several times the hair was gone, but after a while the hair is starting to come back. Why is it possible?
So here's what I love to answer this, because this is what I always tell people. It's not permanent hair removal, it's permanent hair reduction. So I always tell people I have done about 13 treatments on my arms and I have some little stringy hairs. There's a couple factors that come into that. One is you might need to change the wavelengths or go much higher influences, or even here, I don't know if you've done smooth pulse versus standard linear stamping, but you can change those to try and get more bursts of energy deeper. If smooth pulse kind of flickers out, then you can go much higher fluent standard typical approach to hair removal. The other is there may be hormonal changes going on, especially with females. We do a lot of hormonal optimization, and I find a dramatic change in the results of hair removal when women's hormones are balanced. And that could be cortisol, it could be estrogen. You'd be surprised. Women sprout hairs with every change of a hormone, especially with kids, especially with stressful events. Look at women's hair fall out with telogen when they get stressed. So I think hormonal assessment is important. And actually I have a doctor that specializes in that for hair removal, for hair loss. And we do it virtually with people all over the world. So if it's something you want to offer your clients, we can do that for you. The other is you may just need to change the wavelength, like I said. And you may get to a point where it's just reduction and you have to do a maintenance treatment a couple times a year. And that's what I always tell people. The other is if it's at the beginning and you're noticing they're coming back so quickly, even at the initial, that means you're doing treatments at the wrong time periods. And for different parts of the body, there's different time periods. But in general, I tell people the first 2 or 3 treatments you do a month apart. And then the next 2 or 3 treatments you do 6 to 8 weeks apart. And then the next 2 or 3 treatments you do 8 to 12 weeks apart. Yeah. And if you do it that way, the chance of missing a cycle of anagen is very minimal.
Yeah.
And so you'll get all the follicles out of the phase of dormancy to growth, and then you'll be able to kill them.
Fantastic, thank you very much. I have another question here from a lady called Diana. Sorry, the last one was actually from a lady called, was Vanny, I think. This one's from a lady called Diana, which is basically, is it only for hair removal? Obviously, no, the system can do other things such as acne or skin rejuvenation. Those are other functions and features on the system. Do you have much experience of using it for acne or rejuvenation, Dr. Emer?
So here's the thing, because I have so many lasers and I'm very specific to using lasers for specific things, I don't really use this as much for that. Although I will say a lot of acne, especially on the face and neck, and even back in guys that have a lot of hair, is related to hair follicles not only being plugged, but being oily. So if you remove the hair, which is a very normal thing we do, most of my women, even on Accutane, we're doing hair removal, you're going to see an improvement. Now, any of the that wavelength, you're going to improve acne regardless, but acne is more specific for other underlying things. So if you want to decrease inflammation, vascular and 810 will help do that. But if you want to be specific to retexturizing the skin or improving the color and tone, you're probably going to want to do something more, a BBL, an IPL, a peel, along with doing these types of treatments. So you can do diode on the face, you know, and do hair removal on acne and get a little bit of rejuvenation, but you're going to want to add, like I said, the skincare, the peels, and a laser of a resurfacing point, because you want collagen production. Even though there's heat being generated, we need turnover of the cells.
Okay, thank you very much.
That's what I think.
Okay, another question here from Howard. Do you have any recommendation for reducing dark patches under the armpit after doing laser hair removal? For example,
yes.
Laser.
Yeah, here's what I always tell people to do for that. Now, if they're Indian descent, dark skin type, I mean, you're always going to have some darkness there. We actually do Cosmelan or Enlighten peels. I created a peel called Enlighten. It's distributed out of the United States, but if you want your people to be able to have it, we can again send it through my emeragecosmetics.com internationally. It is a peel for about 3 to 7 days. That is a retinol-based peel, and it brightens the skin tone. There's a really great, you need to use lightening creams, retinol, hydroquinone if you're able to in your country. If you can't use hydroquinone, then we do alternative skin brighteners like something called Restore-C, which is made of a fish enzyme, Melatonic, which is from a company Isden. You need to use some sort of lightening creams. If it's related to sweat or rubbing, there's nothing you can do. You're always going to have to fight it. So I always tell people 2 to 3 times a year a peel, and always doing lightening creams. Now, clear and brilliant laser or a very light non-ablative resurfacing actually helps. I don't like Q switch lasers there. So as much as I love your Tattoo Star, which I do, I would be super careful. Hold on, sorry. I'd be super careful on using any of that for pigmentation in that area. It can potentially rebound pigmentation.
Okay, thank you very, very much. Interesting question here. If we do laser hair removal not regularly, let's say about twice a year only on skin type 4 thick hair, will it work to remove the hair for a long time?
Yes. So if you do your series of treatments, you know, somewhere in that 3 to 6 range, depending on how much improvement you get, and then you just do a couple maintenance treatments a year, you're probably never going to have hair or have regrowth of hair. I have a client in New York that I do once a year. We did 8 treatments with this initially, his whole body, except for his upper arm. So it's crazy. You actually see nothing on his lower arm, and his whole upper arm is hairy. But his back, chest, and arm, we do a 1 treatment a year. He comes in, it takes 10 minutes because I use the quick, XL, and he's done.
Question here from a guy called Brian. If we're a physician in the US, where can we purchase the MeDioStar?
Edward?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, you
Hello?
want to tell them? Okay.
Yeah, if you want to purchase the MeDioStar, you can buy that from a company called Stanza Laser, based out of Texas. Interesting question here from Alexei. Could you quickly compare MeDioStar versus Alexandrite lasers, for example?
Well, we did. We basically did. I mean, like I said, I did a lot of, well, hold on a second. There's an Alex handpiece on here that I showed them that I like a lot. But again, and like I was telling you guys before, and we compared the Gentalays. So to me, this laser has the most versatility and does the best results comparatively. I can treat every skin type, including having the 940, getting an enhanced outcome. So to me, it's really not comparable, to anything else that's there.
Yeah, I remember when we first trained you on the MeDioStar, you had a gentleman who came in, I think he'd had 14 treatments with an Alex laser, and then you used the XL on his chest. He might even be one of the guys that you had in the video, I think. But,
I think that was him, and then he had a 50% reduction in one treatment after that.
Yeah. There's a question here about monolith handpieces. Obviously, you haven't really had a great deal of chance to play with the new monolith handpieces yet.
I will, and we can do, when I get it, maybe 2 to 4 weeks afterwards, we can do another webinar.
Yeah.
I'll make videos and talk about each device. And you guys just make sure to follow my Instagram and my YouTube, because I'm going to start posting videos on each of them when we get them.
Okay. Question about the 940 vascular treatment. Is it painful?
It is a little painful, actually. And the thing is, you don't want to use numbing because you don't want to change the vessel size. So, you have to do cooling and heating really quickly. Now, the woman that I showed you in there, I just kept heating. She didn't care. But in general, it is a little painful, especially around the ankle and the knee. So, I have another set, my staff, they have ice packs as well, where they'll ice pack and lift, and then we'll do it. Or you can use a cool roller like we used to use for tattooing in the old days for tattoo removal. But it is a little painful, but it works.
Yeah. What kind of feedback have you had from people who, for example, had long pulse YAG treatment compared to the 940 with the MeDioStar?
I think they think the YAG probably is more painful, especially on the ankle area. It would be very hard to do the YAG on an ankle.
Yeah. Okay.
It's very hard.
Let's see if there's any more questions. We've got a few. I think we're kind of running out of time a little bit here.
Yeah, I have to go in 2 minutes.
Okay, right.
I have another webinar.
Okay, yeah, question here, I think, it's from Katerina. What is it like? There's no consumables for the laser for the hair removal, are there? So,
yeah, and that's the great thing. No consumable, really good technology, warranty for, what is it, a year? A year warranty too? What do you, on the device, what's the warranty?
You can pay for up to 5 years warranty.
Up to 5. Oh, good. Okay, great. I mean, I'll tell you, I've had mine for almost that long and nothing's ever broke. So that's unlike other companies where I have had to return lasers. Trust me, hard to do, but I was able to do it.
Okay. Do you have a question here? I mean, I don't know if you've got any experience of the light shear device, which is another.
Yeah, I do. I actually helped get the light shear approved in the United States first with the original, with just the 810, and then also after with the suction device, with the suction added for pain control. That's what I was saying. It's comparatively, there isn't one. This is significantly better. It's also really slow. Even with the suction in the larger spot size, it's still super slow. It would take me 2 hours, probably 3 hours, to do the same treatment I do in 5 minutes.
Okay, fantastic. Okay, varicose veins. Have you seen any recurrence when you're treating varicose veins? I mean, you know, this is never specifically.
Yeah, I always tell people, especially if you have underlying reticular or larger varicose veins, the spider veins are going to come back at some point or branch into another area. So you have to underlying treat the issue. If it's a younger person with just some small spider veins, 1 or 2 treatments, you probably will get those, and maybe every couple years you get some of the new ones that pop up because they're going to get them as they age. The older patients that have underlying vein disease, they're going to need sclerotherapy or laser or stripping. You're going to need to do the deeper veins because otherwise they're going to continue to sprout new ones, and or the lasers just won't work because they'll kill one and a new arm will grow. So you always got to treat the underlying cause.
Excellent. Thank you very much. I'm conscious of the time and that you do have to go. So,
all right, you guys, thank you so much. Again, if you need me, a couple things, you want anything related to social media marketing, website, pj@jasonemermd.com. Just say you're interested at MD Agency. If you want to know anything about the device itself, email Edward a bunch of questions or videos that you would like to see, and we'll start to produce those. And then I look forward to doing more with you guys.
Excellent. Thank you very much, Dr. Emer. Thank you.
Goodbye. Bye-bye.
Have a good day. Apologies for anybody who hasn't had their question answered directly during the webinar. We will get back to you in writing. I've got a question here from a lady called Huya. We will respond to that in writing coming up. So thank you very much. It's been a pleasure talking to you, not actually talking with you. But I hope that you've enjoyed this, that it's been informative, and thank you very much for your attention, and goodbye and good night.